Do you ever go into a room and perhaps feel like you can absorb everyone's energy? Or maybe you feel overwhelmed and you're quite empathic and your gifts are heightened. And when you go into a room, you end up taking on family or friends' energies. Perhaps there's a coworker at work that you don't get along with, and every time you leave work, you feel completely drained. If this is you, let me know with the fire emoji down below. Today, I'm going to be going over 3 very simple but powerful ways to really let go of negative energies so you're not absorbing these energies all the time. And one of the biggest things when we do hold lower frequency energies is it tends to lower our energy all in all, but it also can impact our health, our immune system, our gifts, and so much more. So I cannot wait to share these 3 amazing, simple yet powerful techniques that I've used and I've taught many of my clients to do. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells so you do not miss a video, as I do these videos quite regularly to help light workers, healers, and all beings to really rise and shift into their divinity. Also, I also want to share with you that if you're interested in going deeper into your gifts, deeper into your work, highly suggest you applying for one-on-one, as well as applying for the Divine Dharma and other trainings and courses that are down below to support you. So let's get into the 3 simple, powerful ways to really support you and really letting go of absorbing people's energies. So the first one is one that I've been using for over 7 years. It's one of my favorite techniques to use, and you can do this when you're out and walking or in a public place, at a party, whatever it is, and it's helped me a lot. And it's called the rose technique. And what you do is you can sit or you can stand wherever you are. You're having a conversation and pretend that at this time you're feeling this person's energy. Let's say that you're feeling this person's energy really absorbing, or you're absorbing their energy. What do? So in this moment, you take a breath, breathing into your body, doing a full awareness. And you can do this even in mid-conversation. And what that looks like is you're breathing naturally, just being more consciously aware of your breath. You start to scan the body from the feet all the way up to the head. And once you've noticed the area where your body or your being is starting to absorb that energy, what you're going to do is you're going to start to breathe into that space. And as you breathe into that space, you're going to kind of telepathically communicate with these energies and say that, I am not absorbing this energy. I give this energy back to whoever this energy is, and you basically give it back to them, or better yet, transmute it and giving it to universe. So what I usually say is I'll say I'm in my process, I'm scanning, and I feel where the energy is. I'll sit there and I'll say, okay, I let go of these energies that are no longer mine, and I transmute it with love. And what I do at that time is, as I'm breathing consciously, I start to feel the energies start to dissolve, right? I start to feel the space between me and this person. And usually I always envision like a portal, a white light above me, and that energy just going there and completely being cleared. Now, this part is the most important part that a lot of people forget. And this is to ensure that you continue to be engaged in the conversation, or perhaps you really shift the energy to your own, whatever it may have you. And this is creating roses. So you can envision or sense or feel. I know everyone is different with their gifts, so you don't have to see it, but you can take a moment and feel or sense or whatever that intuitiveness of roses. And I like to call in pink or red roses, or sometimes white. So I just envision around me a beautiful, bouquet of roses that are surrounding my auric field. What your auric field is your extension of your body. It's usually around arm's width. So you just envision about arm's width these beautiful roses and white and pink light just being in your bubble. Now you also envision the other person having the same thing, roses and a bubble around them. What this does is it allows you to still be engaged in the conversation and exchange this conversation, or to chat with them, or perhaps you're sitting at a party and you're not talking to them, but you can feel their energy, or maybe you leave from work or you feel this energy as well. You can do that, and then what happens is their energy is there. There's a respect, there's a boundary, which we're going to go back to boundaries in a moment. There's a boundary between you and this person. Now, the second part of the roses technique is, let's say that you are leaving work and you felt like you've absorbed someone's energy, right? You're gonna do the same way. You're gonna scan your body intuitively at your home, closing your eyes, and feel into where the energy is. And you're gonna ask that energy, is it mine or is it the person's? And if it's the person's, then what you're gonna do is, again, transmute that energy up to that light, and you're gonna put that bubble of roses and that white and pink light in the bubble with you, and it's just gonna cleanse and purify. I always like to smudge if I'm at home, so Palo Santo or sage. I like to smudge my body and just clear those spaces just to make sure everything's sealed. Maybe crack a window if you feel like the energy is really dense as well, to allow the energy to exit the space, and then you're no longer absorbing those negative energies. So this is a very powerful technique that can be used for yourself, that can be used if maybe you are a healer, light worker, or you work with other people, and I love to teach this one. The second way, to most simple but yet powerful way to stop absorbing people's energies is to balance your chakras. And I'm gonna specifically share Reiki. Reiki has really shifted a lot for me, even though I do a lot of somatic and elemental work and plant medicine healing. I always use it for myself, and I find I sometimes even use it for other people. So if you are someone that tends to be, empathic and you absorb a lot of energies, rebalancing your chakras with Reiki can be very supportive. And this is one of the reasons why I feel that every person should have access to be attuned to do Reiki. So if that's something that you're interested in, we do have Reiki 1 and 2 elemental Reiki, which is all about connecting with Usui Reiki, but bringing the knowledge and wisdom of elements as well. And if you feel called to be attuned and learn about Reiki, you can go down below and you can apply for the course, and then I actually do a one-on-one attunement with you after you've done the course material. So what you basically do is, in the morning, what I like to do is I go and do all my chakras. So I do each chakra with Reiki, and I do this probably 5 to 10 minutes. Usually once I start to practice so often, it's almost like quicker. So I might start with doing 10 minutes, right? And when you do your Reiki, you can do it 10 minutes on your body, each chakra. Eventually, as this practice starts to become more regular, it may be just 3 minutes tune-up or a 5-minute tune-up on, like, say, your solar plexus, your heart, your shoulders, whatever you're going through. And this really allows you to cleanse and clear the chakras, so they're constantly circling, they're constantly open and cleansed. Now, this is the tip that a lot of people forget, and I tell all my Reiki students about this, is that you should also do Reiki before you go to bed, right? You go to work, you're absorbing people's energy, you're calling your family members, you're going to a family gathering, a reunion, you're going to a hangout, you're walking around, you're at a party or a festival or a concert, whatever it is. So easy to absorb energies, right? So, this is where I really highly suggest doing that before you go to bed. And sometimes my students will say, I fell asleep during Reiki, and that's actually great. Like, there's no problem if you fall asleep, but I love doing it before, in the morning, and at night. Now, another question people may ask is, what if I just want to receive Reiki and I actually don't want to actually be attuned? And that's okay. So not everyone's feeling called to everything, right? I would highly suggest you definitely going to a Reiki practitioner and getting a Reiki session, and this will really help you if that's something that you're interested in. I do offer them not often, but if that's something that you are interested in having a Reiki session or a healing session, you can go and apply for my one-on-ones, or you can email me down below and I can share a little bit more about that. But you can do a Reiki session, I would say once a month is good. Some people like to do it bi-weekly the first time they're trying, but once a month is really nice. And some people even offer massage in Reiki, which I do like body work in Reiki for people in person and at my retreats, which are very powerful as well. So this is a really great way to rebalance the body, is being able to use your hands. And just remember that we actually have about 50 to 20% of Reiki in our palms already. We're born with that. When you notice that you hurt yourself, what's the first thing you do? You take your hands, you put it over wherever you knocked your knee, and that's an intuitive knowing, because we know we have healing hands. Everyone's hands are healing. All of us are healers. So being able to just do that even without Reiki is very supportive, and just bringing conscious awareness of what is happening in this body, what is this energy. Okay, now the last way, simple but yet powerful way to stop absorbing other people's energies and really releasing these energies, and this one is a really potent one. It brings the responsibility back to you and to all of us. And I always like to say that, you know, cleansing our chakras, doing the rose technique is great, but the biggest thing we have to understand is how do we manage that? Because eventually when your frequency is at such a heightened space, the negative energy will just bounce off, right? And that's the thing. You can walk into a negative space and will it not affect you? That's when you know you're not attaching yourself to the negativity and you can be a light. And that's really what all of our initial intention is, to eventually walk into the most triggering space or talk to the triggering person and know that that is nothing to do with you. And it first starts with you. We have to understand what is being triggered first and accept that and heal that and work through that shadow. And when we can do that, then we can be in a space where it doesn't affect us. There are many relationships now that I can walk and talk to and just be like, okay, it just doesn't affect me anymore because I've been able to do the deep work, right? So part of this work brings me to this third and last special and very important one is your boundaries are not strong enough. So creating stronger no's. Right? So understanding that it is your responsibility as an intuitive beings that we all are, that we have many gifts, that we have to understand that if someone's energy is affecting you, knowing that I can say a full no, right? We've all been there where we ask someone or a child, think of a kid, this brings us to inner child healing. What was your relationship with no as a child? You know, go back to your younger self. And when you were walking as that little self, how did you first learn that absorbing negative energy was yours to hold? Now, when we look at that, we see why were we the ones holding the burdens on our back of these negative energies, right? Either we were told we have to, either that we felt like we needed to. Sometimes it's karmic, sometimes it's ancestral, sometimes it's part of our soul contract to understand that we are worthy and to step into our power and to not absorb those lower frequencies. There's a difference between being able to help support people heal and just being another lease, another place for them to store their stuff, right? And that's where I see majority of space holders, healers, and people, just people, humans, because we're all humans, space holders, healers, there's nothing special, we are humans. And when we look at that, we can then understand, you know, where was our boundaries being taken advantage of as a child or in our earlier years, right? And we can go into that, we can then understand why do we feel so uncomfortable saying no? Why do we absorb instead of saying, no, this energy is not welcomed here, right? And this is how we allow ourselves with love. No, it's not no angry. It's no, it's not welcomed. It's a loving energy. It's a motherly, nurturing energy, no matter how much. But we need to first clear the judgment, first clear the emotions. So a great question for you to work on not absorbing these negative energies is, what is my boundaries with this person? How have I expressed my boundaries with this person? And why is this negative energy coming to me? Because it is ultimately a showing of me and standing in my power and my work and my ability to say no. Because all negative energies, they just want to be loved. Whenever people talk about negative energies or lower frequencies or different words that they use to explain it, I always say it's an energy that ultimately wants to be loved. But what makes you feel like you have to love that you have to jeopardize your own boundaries? Mic drop. So it is an understanding for us to not absorb negative energy is for us to also manage and do our energetic hygiene, right? The smudging, the rose technique, the balancing of the chakras, the spaces where we can allow ourselves to be in our light, not be scared of our light, not be scared of our gifts, be in that power and fully just be there. And when we can do that, what happens is that energy bounces off and gets transmuted in love. And yes, it can be a lot, it can be triggering sometimes for others. but you're giving them permission to also step into that. So it is our duty to be in our truth with our boundaries and to express them. And if you have a hard time expressing your boundaries, I highly suggest you doing the course Lapis. It's an amazing course. It's all about activating your voice, your throat chakra, and your boundaries are going to completely change if you feel like this is a hard space for you. If you're someone that has a hard time connecting with boundaries with the mother, because this is a very common wound I see, maybe the mother or your grandparents or the women in your lineage didn't express their boundaries, and that was something you were also being affected by and you learned on a subconscious level, I would highly suggest you also doing the Citrine Vortex course. It's an amazing course to support you. Better yet, if you want to do both, you can, but these courses are amazing live workshops that I did that I've created as a course to help you transform your relationship with your sacral and to really understand the stories that you hold and why your boundaries feel like they're not fully in your power, but rather they're in the space of feeling that I need to be the being, the light to absorb. Because when we absorb those negative energies, we actually dim our light, and that doesn't help them and it doesn't help us. So this is the first understanding, is that I need to know my relationship with my yes and my no, and why are they not fully in that divinity, fully in their power. So this is the last one. I left the last step, the last beautiful tip and process to support you and take away all of these prompts to really help you out, and even better yet, go into the course and support you. So I hope that these 3 powerful yet simple ways to let go of absorbing other negative energies really helps you out. Let me know down below, how do you feel after this? Maybe you went through a release, because I always say when you're receiving these transmissions, it helps you heal, it helps you really move whatever you need to move. So if you release something, feel free to share in the safe space what you released. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with someone that maybe is going through a process where maybe they're in a relationship, or with someone, or maybe in a space where they feel not powerful in that space, or maybe they feel the negative energies and frequencies and you're noticing that, it might be affecting them. Just gently share this and maybe they'll be open to it. And lastly, is if you feel called to go deeper into your healing and really letting go and stepping into your light, highly suggest you applying to my one-on-ones as well as my trainings if you want to step into learning how to help others heal, learning how to really step into your divinity and power as a light worker or healer, and plant medicine ceremonies and courses as well, which are a great place to start for your whole journey. So I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.